All right, and we're back with another episode of Full Disclosure. I'm your host, Christian Thayer, and if you have been living under a rock for the past, I don't know, month, 2 months or so, um, you don't know anything about the metaverse. But even if you haven't been living under a rock, you probably still don't know anything about the metaverse because what is the metaverse? And that's sort of essentially what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about a little bit about what the heck the metaverse is, and then we're going to attempt to see if there is any need for you, a real estate agent, and if you can make money in the metaverse or something, how, if you can be involved, if you even want to be involved, what that looks like, what that might look like. We don't know. We have no idea. We're going to figure it out. I have a couple articles that I want to go over. So, like I said, the metaverse. Do you know anything about it? Maybe, maybe not. I'm just going to pretend that you just know the name and you've heard of it, and you've heard that um, Facebook's company, not Facebook, social media platform, they changed their name to Meta Platforms because Mark Zuckerberg is all in on the metaverse. And so that I definitely think because of that, that's why it's even like a public thing. If Facebook never mentioned it, I guarantee you like 1% of the population would maybe know about the metaverse. And so again, what is it, right? We've been told it's like this virtual reality. We've been told it's a digital world, right? Well, in much like real world stuff, if you live in a virtual world, you have to quote unquote live somewhere, right? Um, and so that would require a house, right? You got to buy a house, and then in order to buy a house, where are you building that house? You have to put it on land, right? You kind of see where I'm getting at here. Okay, so let's go into this article. If you have enough money and courage, you can now buy up digital tracts of land in the metaverse. Now, one thing to note: whenever anybody says metaverse, um, it's it's not one place. There isn't just one metaverse, which is very confusing. I didn't really know this until I read this article because I don't know a ton, um, which is why I'm doing this podcast on it because why not learn a little bit more about it? And apparently, think of think of the metaverse like different countries, if you will, and those countries, however, are companies, or in this case, um, uh, no, actually, let's keep it with countries. So Facebook is starting or attempting to start their own virtual metaverse, right? However, that's obviously going to be the most popular one because of just the brand name. However, there are other quote unquote metaverses, or in this case, quote unquote countries. Um, some of them by the name of Decentraland. There are some other ones, but think of them as different countries. And in those different countries, you're going to have different currencies, and those currencies would be, you guessed it, cryptocurrencies. Um, one of the first companies to get into the digital real estate business is Metaverse Group, which operates a virtual world called Decentraland. Last week, Metaverse's group parent company, Token.com, announced that a 116 parcel estate in the heart of the Fashion Street district within Centraland apparently sold for the equivalent of about $2.5 million. Yeah, if you were thinking like maybe a couple grand, 10,000, you would be vastly mistaken. And so the new owner of this estate, which apparently is near Fashion Street, whatever the heck that is, could presumably profit if Louis Vuitton wanted to open up a store there. Essentially, they have the potential to become a brand's virtual landlord, which in itself, on the surface, sounds so incredibly stupid. Um, so incredibly stupid. I can't. Gosh, are you kidding me? Not being a landlord, having to pay a landlord in real life is stupid. I mean, I get it, but it's dumb. And so you're telling me that there might be a chance to do that in virtual. I don't understand. Anyways, so yes, the Decentraland deal, the one that allegedly went for $2.5 million, technically didn't involve real money, as I mentioned earlier. The digital estate sold for 618,000 mana, which is a type of cryptocurrency used in Decentraland. Um, and so, much like real money, um, prices can go up and down and fluctuate. And with crypto, that is definitely the case. That's why, granted, I'm not going to try and turn this episode into something about crypto, but if you know anything about crypto, think of them like stocks. Prices can go up and down. However, with crypto, personally, it's a lot more of just about like whichever coin has the most hype. Um, I Obviously you have like the Bitcoin and Ethereum, where those are quote unquote stable coins as to what they're called. But then the more niche you get, the more it just kind of feels like it's a money grab. Um, Imagine if you came to New York when it was farmland and you had the option to get a block of Soho. Metaverse Group co founder Michael Gord recently told the New York Times, if someone wants to buy a block of real estate in Soho today, it's priceless. It's not on the market. That same experience is going to happen in the metaverse. Which, I mean, I get what he's saying. I do, but um at that point just go to a different. I don't know. The metaverse is so confusing. I don't. Oh my gosh, and that's funny because the next line in the article is, all this probably sounds a bit mind bending. Yeah, you clearly know your audience. Who would pay real money for the rights of a piece of virtual world that doesn't entirely exist and will never exist? Well, if you've been paying any attention to the NFT craze or the cryptocurrency boom in recent years, plenty of people are pouring millions of dollars into digital assets with the expectations that others might be willing to pay even more for them in the future. We're clearly not talking about NFTs in this one, but again, if you have a house, NFTs are technically non-fungible tokens is what it stands for, but what it really means is it's art. Most of them are art. And if you're watching this video, you can see they got some art in the background right there. However, that's real art. And if you have a house, right, you are probably going to want to put some art on the walls, which means that you're going to probably want to buy NFTs. There are so many different ways to make money in the metaverse, and all of them are equally confusing. Let's see what else we got here. The metaverse land grab is happening under a similar assumption. What makes the metaverse real estate boom all the more enticing, though, is the idea that once you own a piece of digital land, you might be able to make money by leasing it out or selling ads. I can almost tell you this for certain, that you will not find me in any metaverse. I prefer the real world. I feel like this is like the beginning of like a movie, um, where in like 5 years, half the population is just gonna be sitting in their houses with VR goggles, living in the metaverse, and then the other half are going to be like anti-metaverse and out and about living life. I think I was talking about this with somebody. Um, I don't love the idea of people sitting in their house, not doing anything and just chilling in the metaverse. But for those of us that want nothing to do with the metaverse, if a majority of the population no longer comes outside of their house, does that make the rest of the world less populated? Meaning, like, if I wanted to go to like a national park or something, maybe like in the summer when it's probably busy, you think it's going to be as busy? Or, insert another busy spot here. Maybe this is a good thing for those of us that want to go out and about. I don't know. Who knows? Anyways, in its most basic form, the metaverse concept is not that different from the early days of the web, which I totally agree. Starting in the late 80s, a common programming language for web, HTML, enabled people to build websites that hosted content or offered service to users. And eventually, when websites attracted enough of these users, the site owners could sell ads or charge fees to make money off of it all. Does it sound familiar? Well, if so, that means that you're old enough to remember the dot-com bubble of 99 and 2000. And if you were also one of those people that were like, oh, the internet is a fad, maybe the metaverse definitely isn't for you. The big difference, of course, is that the web was designed to be free, while the metaverse seems destined to be owned by big companies. Just before announcing that Facebook would change its name to Meta, for example, Mark Zuckerberg told investors that the company expected to spend more than $10 billion on its metaverse projects this year alone. And it's hard for anybody to compete with that kind of cash. Still, plenty of companies are trying. In addition to Decentraland, you can now buy digital land in the metaverse with names like Somnium Space. That's a fun one to say. The Sandbox and Upland. The one company called Spot Selfie, which currently operates an augmented reality app, will soon let you buy virtual real estate that's associated with GPS coordinates in the real world through a new feature called Spot Land. That's actually, I don't I don't that sounds better than just buying a genuinely fake um place that doesn't exist. I guess I don't love it, but I see the appeal to maybe buying, you know, a piece of New York in Manhattan or somewhere, virtually, of course. But value, it's all subjective, right? The idea is that by using tokens issued by Spot Selfie or tokens or cryptocurrency, these are effectively cryptocurrency that's specific to this metaverse. So again, think of each metaverse as a country. Think of each country that has its own cryptocurrency. It's essentially what's happening here. Much like the mana used in the Decentraland transaction, which I talked about earlier, you'll be able to buy the rights to a radius around a GPS coordinate, and then if Spot Selfie decides to sell ads at that location, you will get a cut. The big difference here is that Spot Selfie's metaverse is designed for augmented reality and not virtual reality. I'm sorry, there's a difference between those two? That is news to me. To see the metaverse, you just point your phone's camera at the real world location, and the Spotland software overlays a digital world onto your screen. Okay, that sounds like the stupidest thing in the world. Never mind, I don't like this at all. That doesn't make any sense. You're telling me that I have to point my phone at the real world for them to show me ads? Oh my gosh, this is so dumb. This could be the future if and when mixed reality glasses become a thing. Last time I checked, we already tried Google Glass, Snapchat's tried something, Facebook tried to partner with Ray-Ban. I don't think mixed reality glasses will ever become a thing. I hope not. However, some analysts think that Apple will release a version of them in 2022. I'm going to go on record in saying that Apple will not, because Apple's not that dumb. We could be walking around looking at an overwhelming collision of real and digital worlds. Okay, the fact that they had to use the word overwhelming right there just means that you should not do it. And even though a lot of companies are scrambling to stake their claim, it's unclear exactly who will own that space. And at the end of the day, Mark Zuckerberg might be completely wrong about the metaverse. It's entirely possible that not that many people will actually want to wander around a virtual world, meeting other avatars, and buying NFTs with cryptocurrency. Maybe we don't want to inhibit some boundless digital space filled with ads and designed to track our behavior in ways we haven't imagined yet. Moral of the story here, I think it's too early to sit here and say, yes, real estate agents may be needed. Because at the moment, it just sounds like the companies themselves are being their own real estate agent, right? Because you don't really need to sign contracts and you probably don't need a mortgage for this and blah, 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 blah. However, that doesn't mean that there might not come a time where if the metaverse really does pop off, uh, that companies are so overwhelmed with other things, maybe maybe a company will come along and that company will be real estate agents for the metaverse. If that ever does happen, um, I'm sure you guys probably will be, if you even want to, eligible to become a real estate agent in the metaverse. What does it look like? I have no idea. Oh, I think I saw. Yeah, I saw a apparently the article headline: Another Miami luxury broker journeys into the metaverse for sales. So it's already happening, but you have to, I guess, understand it, uh, and you have to figure out how to do it. I read his article and I still don't really understand how he's doing it or what exactly he's doing. And that's sort of the problem with the whole metaverse is because it's so confusing. Uh, like only a finite amount of people actually understand it and therefore can actually take advantage of it. So until it becomes a little bit easier to navigate and maybe just a little bit less scary, then I think more people, such as yourself, if you choose to, get in there. So that's sort of this episode. If you are interested in the metaverse, or if you are in the metaverse, if you want to know more about the metaverse, let me know. Get in contact with me. I'd love to interview you on this. Hope you guys learned something. And as always, I will talk to you guys next episode.